Hi there, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Yua, and in today's video I'm going to be using and trying on for the first time on camera the new Dominique Cosmetics Rustic Glam eyeshadow palette. So if you would like to see how I created this eye look today and my final thoughts on the eyeshadow palette, then please keep watching. If you like to watch weekly beauty, fashion, lifestyle videos, then definitely subscribe to my channel and hit that bell notification so you'll be notified each and every time I upload a new video. Alright, let's get started. So, if you didn't know, Dominique Cosmetics released a new eyeshadow palette called the Rustic Glam. Here is the outside packaging. This is just the sleeve. Here's the actual inside eyeshadow palette. It's very, very beautiful. I love this like gold, kind of aqua blue theme. And then here is the inside of the eyeshadow palette. It has 12 different colored eyeshadows. It comes with mattes, shimmers. I feel like there's some like even like satiny kind of infused glitter or shimmer shadows as well. So this palette is very different in that there's some cool tones, some very warm tones, and then some pops of colors, pinks and purples in here as well. It has a really good size mirror in here, which is a very unique shape, if I may add. It does retail for $44. You can find this on the Dominique Cosmetics website or at Sephora, and I'll definitely link both below in case you're curious. And so that's pretty much it. I'm just gonna go ahead and go into the tutorial portion and then my final thoughts at the end. So to start off today's eye look today, I'm just going to go ahead and set my entire eyelid down with this matte kind of cream shade right here called Free Spirit. And I'm just going to put that all over my eyelid. Alright, next I'm going to pick up this, I would say it's like a cool brown shade right here called Fringe. And I'm just going to use that as my transition shade. And I really want to play with some color in this palette, so I'm going to pick up the bright, vibrant blue called Evil Eye right here. And I'm just going to build that shadow up just a little bit. I barely picked up any shadow, and this is a super pigmented, vibrant blue. I'm gonna go into this green shade right here called Cactus. It's a really, I would say it's almost like an army green shadow, and I'm just gonna go underneath the previous blue shadow and kind of just create kind of like a ombre with this green shadow. It's a really pretty color. And just right there on the lid where I don't have any shadows yet, I'm gonna go into this like bronzy shade called Bohemian, and I'm just gonna use a dry flat brush first just to see how it performs on its own. So it looks like it's performing not bad actually, but I feel like this is probably gonna take me a while, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pick it up, the shadow first, and then I'm gonna wet it with like some Fix Plus or some setting spray, and then see if it really helps kind of bring out that shadow. Oh yeah, it's definitely showing much more pigment when I'm wetting it. Yes. So now that my brush is wet, it definitely is showing way more pigment, picking up way more. It's such a pretty shade. So next, I'm just going to pick up this matte brown. This is like deepest brown shade in here called Suede. And I'm just going to place that a little bit just to deepen those outer corners a little bit. I don't want to add actually too much brown, but I just want to add a little bit of depth a little on those outer corners, because I feel like the other darkest shade that I could have potentially gone to is Moonchild, but as you can see, there's definitely some shimmer and glitter in there, and I typically don't really put that like to deepen my outer corners. If there's some kind of glitter and sheen into it, I would prefer like a black matte shade. For my lower lash line, I actually want to go into this warm kind of brownie like orangey shade called Desert Queen, and I'm going to place this shadow on my entire lower lash line. And then to deepen that out, I'm going to go back into that deep brown shade called Suede, and I'm just going to kind of blend it, starting on the outer corners and just blending it in to mix those two shadows. And there's definitely some fallout, so I'm just gonna go ahead and just brush it away. So that's pretty much it with using the Rustic Glam eyeshadow palette from Dominique Cosmetics. I'm gonna go ahead and finish off the rest of my eye makeup and face makeup, and then I'll come back to give you guys my final thoughts on the Rustic Glam eyeshadow palette. And this is the finished makeup look. In case you're curious for the lip combo, I did first use the liquid lipstick from Pérsona in the shade OG, and then I just lined my lips with the ColourPop pencil lipstick. This is the Shayla and ColourPop collab in the shade BFF number 3. I just want to give you my overall final opinion on this first impression using the Dominique Cosmetics Rustic Glam eyeshadow palette. First of all, talking about packaging, I think packaging is very beautiful. It's a pretty big eyeshadow palette, but pretty typical of their previous, like the Berries and Cream eyeshadow palette that they came out before this one. So I'm kind of used to it. I love the fact that there is a good, really big size mirror, and there are 12 different colored eyeshadows in here. Now, the color layout, I think, in my opinion, kind of, it didn't really appeal to me in the beginning because it was just kind of confusing, because you have, you know, some really cool green blues, and then you have some warm, kind of rustic, very warm browns, and then you have some pops of pink and purple. So I feel like talking about color palette or color theme per se, because for me, I'm not a very artistic person. It really takes some time for me to kind of think out what kind of eyeshadow look or makeup look to create, especially if the colors are kind of like a rainbow or kind of like they don't follow one color theme. So it was kind of not hard, but I had to be a little bit more creative. So if you're a kind of person like me where, you know, working with an eyeshadow palette that has a lot of different colors is kind of overwhelming, and sometimes you just don't know what kind of eye look to make, this eyeshadow palette definitely gave me that feel. So now I think that the individual eyeshadow formula itself, for the majority of them, I feel like they worked out just fine. I think the only one that I kind of feel like was kind of like powdery and not as creamy and blendable as what I'm used to with the Dominique Cosmetics eyeshadow formula is this like white, like beige one right here called Free Spirit. I feel like it was pretty powdery. It had a lot of kick up, and even on the eyes, I feel like it gave away that kind of like dust, powdery kind of, you know, like it just dusted away. So that was the only one that I feel like was pretty dry in comparison to the other like mattes. And I used this shimmer shade Bohemian. It was so beautiful. I loved it. It's like I said, it's on my lid, and I feel like that was such a beautiful shade. But overall, I think that it's a really, really good like formula, and that's what I love about Dominique Cosmetics, is not necessarily their color schemes, because I would say like especially this one kind of threw me off. Just not knowing what to kind of create with this color scheme, but I think it's the formula that always does it for me. Where overall, I do like this eyeshadow palette. I feel like I'm gonna be able to create definitely a lot of different looks with this, but I feel like this palette, for me personally, I feel like it's gonna be like an accent eyeshadow palette. So I think I might have to work with other eyeshadow palettes or pull this out to work with in conjunction to other eyeshadow palettes to make eye looks, just because I feel like I'm not going to be able to create a lot of eyeshadow looks with just this palette alone. I feel like I'm going to be using it with other eyeshadow palettes, so if that makes sense. So I hope you really enjoyed watching my first impression and kind of review on the Rustic Glam from Dominique Cosmetics. If you have any questions, definitely leave it below. Let me know what you think of the Rustic Glam eyeshadow palette. I would love to know what you think. Other than that, have a wonderful day, and don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you did enjoy it, and I'll see you next time. Bye guys.